Hey y'all, I am back. I said that I was going to be back a long time ago, and that did not happen. Hey, okay. I have not made a long form video, I think, since September. When am I going to do better? All right. But I am back. I've been putting out, shorts or whatever, but I haven't really sat down and did any long form videos. And so I'm back. I had a couple different topics that I wanted to talk about. I'm so sorry. I do not have my mic. My little clip-on mic, it broke. So I'm going to try to project and speak clearly. Maybe I could edit this some kind of way and make my voice reflect better. But working with what I got. So I wanted to talk about a few different things. This video might be a couple of different topics. I'm just flowing with it right now. But one thing I know for sure, I've been on this whole freedom thing. I've just been there, and maybe because God, wants to bring me to different levels of freedom. But I know I have definitely been on this train, this freedom train. And one thing I wanted to talk about was a situation that I had. This is probably one of the times where I felt like I've heard God the clearest. And this was probably 2-3 years ago. And it wasn't just hearing God, but it was almost like hearing his heart. I feel like that's one thing that we have to understand. I know a lot of us are questioning, like, how do you hear God? And do I even hear God? And I think along with that is so important for us to also know his heart, because once you know your heart, you can better identify his voice, his tone, how he's moving in your life, how he's operating, all the things. And so I was at a place where I was just going through it, just in the middle and the thick of it, just going through life, feeling very purposeless, feeling very down, feeling very withdrawn from everything and everybody, even kind of withdrawn from myself, just different things going on. And internally, externally, all the things, I just found myself in a really lost place, a really desperate place, a really low place. So I was working, but I ended up no longer having my job and being a stay-at-home mom with my daughter. And my husband was working from home this day. And I remember saying, like, I need some fresh air. I need a break. I just need a break. And so he was cool with it. He watched her, and I went outside. I went on like the little balcony. I remember I took my journal with me. I think I had my phone. Knowing me, I probably had my pen, my journal, probably another notebook and whatever else, thinking, I'm just going to work on something. Didn't even really know what I was going to work on, but just needed to take some time, but also knowing that I desperately needed to connect with God, because I was in a place where I could no longer function in the strength that I had. And I needed God. I needed to hear from him. I needed to know what was going on. I needed to know where I was at, all the stuff. And I remember, I actually got my journal from, I mentioned this journal before. I wrote down a couple of things that I felt like God was speaking to me of. I remember it was so quiet. I remember it being like the perfect weather. It wasn't too hot, too cold. It was just perfect. And there was such a stillness. I also remember kind of talking to God in my heart, but just in a place of meditation, trying my best to connect with God, trying my best to just come to him, and also desperately wanting to hear from him. I remember just thinking, it was like the thoughts were coming to me, but I realized they were not just my thoughts. It was God trying to respond to me. It was God trying to communicate with me. And it was almost like I also felt his heartbeat as I was, receiving these thoughts, these words that I know came from God. One thing I wrote down that I really wanted to share, because I felt it so strongly, and I wanted to share because maybe this can help somebody else. I remember him really dealing with me on how he had created me, really dealing with me on how I was doing things in my own strength. I was leaning on my own strength, depending on my own strength and abilities, and it was not getting me anywhere. It was not getting me far at all. And it was like him saying, you got to let me in. You got to let me come in. But not just that. you are functioning in life. You are showing up in life in a way I've never created you to function and operate out of. One thing that I did write down was God says, I didn't make you to be restricted and contained, but to be a free spirit. I never created you to be that way, and it hurts me. And it was like I felt it. And if you've ever been in this place, I know I'm not the only one, many of us. And if you haven't, you will. Just keep walking with God, keep leaning in God and getting to know him, getting to know his heart. It was like I felt his sorrowfulness. I felt his sadness. I felt his grief. You know, God has emotions just like we do. We're created in his image. And so when he told me that, it made me sad. And I probably teared up. If I didn't, I'm sure I teared up after all of this. Because I remember coming back from the balcony and coming inside and was like, I cannot believe what just happened. I cannot believe, you know, that God dealt with me in this way, but it was so real. So I just wanted to share that because I was like, oh man, I remember that time when God told me that, like, it hurt him. And y'all, when I felt it, it was like, I felt God, like he was just so sad to the point to where I do remember I was crying when I heard that and felt that. It was like I could feel God saying, it bothers me. It hurts me so much that you cannot be free. It hurts me so much that you are so bound, that you are so held captive in your own thinking, that you cannot see that I do not want you to have those thoughts. That's not how I think about you. I want you to be free. I want you to come up to a level in your mind to where you see yourself how I see you. I want you to come up to a level of yourself in your mind that you're not full of it, but you're full of the truth of who you are. That's it. It's one thing to be cocky and prideful and to have the big head and be like, I'm all that in a bag of chips. No, we're not supposed to think of ourselves more highly than we ought to, as the Bible says. But I do truly believe that if we say that we're supposed to love people like we love ourselves, some of us are not truly loving who we are. Because some of us don't even know who we are. It just made me think like, some of us, we are functioning and operating out of a false identity. We are clinging on to things that are attached to us or to our personality, whether we've learned it along the way, whether we have gained it through habit, whether there's a root and we just don't know how, you know, we've got to be in the place that we've got to be in. Whatever it is, whether we are aware of it or whether we are not aware of it, it hurts God. It bothers him. I just believe that's why it's so important to be authentically you, to continue working on being the best you that you were created to be. And the only way to be the best you, the only way to live in the fullness of who you are is by getting to know God and allowing him to reveal it to you. I believe you cannot really explore yourself and enter this phase of self-discovery without God. It's impossible because he knows you through and through, and he's able to reveal things about yourself that you're aware of, that you're not aware of, things you know, things you may not know yet. And I know I've mentioned that in other videos, but it's so true. It is so true. And when I felt that, I was like, man, I have restricted myself. Maybe a part of what I'm going through is because I have come to the end of who I am. It's no longer working. God is calling me to be more authentic. God is calling me to get to another level of myself that I have not reached yet. He's wanting more from my life. He sees something in my life and within me that he wants to tweak, he wants to fix, he wants to heal, he wants to restore. There's something within my foundation that he wants to completely change around. He wants to completely break my foundation so that he can build me back up in the way that he wants me to be built. I said it one time in a reel already. With God, he creates us, but he also wants to be not just our creator, but he wants to be the one who builds us up. He wants to be the one who molds us. He wants to be the one who has his fingerprint and his hand up on our life. He wants to be the one who sends us out. Not that we send ourselves, not that other people send us, but he wants to be the one in operation. He wants to be the one doing the thing in our life. We have to allow him to build us from the ground up, from our foundation up. And it doesn't matter how long you've been walking with God. Sometimes he comes in and he might see something in your foundation and he's like, I don't know about that. I need to move that around. And sometimes he may even have to break us. If you ever are in a place where you feel broken, it is such a vulnerable place. It is such a sensitive place. And if you were ever to be broken by anything or anybody, you want to be broken by God. And I say that because when you're broken by God, he does not leave you broken. He comes in to restore and to heal you. And he wants to build you, not to leave you in a broken place, not to leave you wounded, not to leave you scattered, not to leave you without clothes on, not to strip you so that you're out here bare and vulnerable and so that he can take advantage of you. No, he wants to clothe you and put on what he wants you to have on. He wants to put on his righteousness. He wants to put on you his ways. And so anyway, I was just thinking about that and I was like, man, God had created me to be free. There's some areas in my life where I am not free. I am not the free-spirited person he has created me to be. Somewhere along the way, I've become restricted. I've become contained. There's some things that have bound me up, and whether I realize it or not, along the way, the little things have built up, and there's something within me that he needs to come in and completely rearrange. For me to hear that, but also for me to feel it along with the words that I was receiving, y'all, it was so deep and it was so real. And it was like, man, God really does care about me. God really is concerned about me. God is deep, but he's also simple. And when I say that, I'm not saying God, is simple minded. Like I say that, I'm talking about sometimes we make God so much more complicated than what he is. Sometimes religion causes us to see God in a way that is not him. He's like, take me out of that box. I'm closer than what you think. I'm more real to you than what you think. Like we have these restrictions on God, and sometimes our perspective of who he is and how we see him is only based off of other people's experience that we have not had. So like even with me sharing my experiences, you can be inspired by, you can be encouraged about it. Hopefully it will point you to want an even closer walk with God, but you got to walk it out yourself. You have to get to know him yourself and have those encounters and those experiences with him yourself. You have to know God yourself, and he wants that. He wants you to be so intimate with him. He wants you to walk so closely with him. He wants you to acknowledge him in all the areas of your life. He wants to be involved in everything. He wants to have a say-so in everything, even the smallest thing. He cares about you so much, and he loves you so much. And I can say that because I felt this. This wasn't something that I heard from anybody else. I've shared this before, and I know I'm not the only one that has had these stories. I was pregnant and I wanted a chocolate chip cookie so bad. I wanted one so bad. I forgot where I was. I think I went somewhere and they were out of the chocolate chip cookies. I don't remember if it was Chick-fil-A. It was somewhere and they were out of it. And I just so happened, I think I got a water. I was going through Starbucks drive-thru, and I'm smiling now just thinking about it, but I wanted a water because their water was just so good. I don't know if it's still good. I hadn't been in a while. I wanted a water, went to Starbucks, and I went to the drive-thru, and not even the person at the window, but there was somebody behind the person working, and the person was like, hey, we got some chocolate chip cookies. Do you want one? And y'all, I know you may think that that's, Brittany, that's just a coincidence. That is so little. Let me tell you, there is no such thing as coincidence. I'm sorry. There's no such thing as coincidence. I said this before, also in a reel. We say that the devil is in the details. Y'all, God be detail, and he be in the details of our life. He is literally embedded in every aspect of life. And in our life, he's our creator. He's the creator of all things. He is in everything. We're not always aware of it. You know, we're not always at a place where we're so sensitive to it and in tune with him, but he is in the details. Let me tell you, in that moment, I knew that was God. Like, I got something for you. I knew that was him because I didn't say it to anybody else. I did not mention it when I was through the drive-thru. I didn't even know that Starbucks had those chocolate chip cookies. I don't know if they still have them, but at that time, I didn't even know that they had them. I had no idea. And so I was just so happy because I was like, God, you heard me. You already knew the desire. You know how bad I wanted this chocolate chip cookie. You already knew and you provided it for me. And it was like that little God wink, as they say. And so those moments are even so special to God. Like sometimes we make it out like God is, you know, he wants us to be this person who prays every day. He wants us to be this person who is so holy, who is so righteous, and this person who does right by people, who loves people. Yes, he is all the things, but God is so much in the details that he cares about your favorite color. God is so much in the details that he cares about the things that you want out of life. A lot of those things he may actually have already put there. There are some desires within us that we have, but there are some desires that God has already placed inside of us, and he cares about those things. God cares so much for you that he cares about your favorite food. He cares about the next thought that you're going to have. He cares about the worries that you have. He cares about the anxieties that you carry. He cares about it all. He cares so deeply. And so, I'm getting off, but I just felt that so strongly, and I wanted to share that with somebody because, again, you may be operating in somebody who you were never supposed to be. You may think this is a part of who you are. You may think that that thing is a part of who you are, but it's not who he has called you to be. He's not called you to be. For me, he's called me to be a free spirit, to be able to flow and be creative and not feel restricted, to not feel bound and in fear. And the same may be for you. But he also may have called you to be courageous, to be brave. He may have called you to not operate out of fear and timidity, to be able to speak up, to be able to be bold, to be able to express your concerns and your cares about things and people. He may have created you to operate a certain way that you may not be experiencing in the fullness of who you are. He needs you to be who you are. We are not a mistake. God knows who we are. Even before we were formed in our mother's womb, God, he knew us. He already knew us. He already had thoughts towards our life. We are not a mistake. He can use everything about us. He uses it all. You know, every little thing, even the way that you speak, even the tone that you use, even the way how you see things and how you process things in your mind, how you're so organized, how you're so analytical, how you're so detailed, how you can make things so humorous. You have a way of making things humorous and allowing people to feel lighter. There might be something about you that when you walk in the room, you just have a way of shifting things. You may have a way of breaking down things that are so complex and complicated and can even be used as confusion. You have a way of making it clear and plain to where people understand. You may have a way of walking in a room and making things that feel so heavy in the atmosphere, situations and circumstances, and making it feel lighter, making people feel like they're a little bit more freer, like their load is a little bit lighter, like they may still have to go through something, but things are a little bit better. Sometimes you do not know what you carry. You do not know what you possess. There might be things about your personality that stand out, you know, your quirkiness, you know, your humor. God uses all of it, and he loves all of it. He loves who you are. He loves everything. Now, I'm not going to say there are some things that he wants to work on and fix. Yes, he corrects us. Yes, there is wisdom. There's a way to do things, especially when we're doing things in the kingdom. But he can use everything about us. And the thing is, he wants to. So God cannot use us when we're trying to act and be like somebody else. God cannot use us when we are trying to cling to and operate in a false identity that has disguised itself to be us, but that's really not who we are. And maybe we've done it so long to where we don't even recognize who we are anymore, or maybe we don't even remember who we are. And also when we are operating in solely what people have said about us. We have not even considered what God thinks about us. We have not even considered the things that God wants to use in our life. We have not even considered the possible gifts and talents and skills and abilities that we have. There might be some things that we are not even aware of because we've only lived our life based off of other people's opinions, based off of other people's insights, based off of other people's influences. And we're not even going to get into the world. This is just the people around us sometimes, our peers, our coworkers, people we grew up with, our family members. I'm not saying that those things are bad. The people closest to you know you the best. So I'm not saying that, but I'm saying we cannot just limit who we are only based off of people, because there's some things that I truly believe God wants to reveal about you that you do not know. I just believe that you can't really operate and fully embrace who you are and the truth of who God says about you when you're operating in a way that is not how he called you to operate. What good are you in the kingdom? And this is me speaking to myself because it's the area that I have to work on. But what good are you in the kingdom if you're not going to be confident in who God called you to be? If you're not going to be confident in the things that he has given you, the things he has placed in your hand? What good are you going to be to the kingdom if you're operating in timidity and in fear and in intimidation? No, he needs you to be bold. He needs you to be confident in what he has already spoken. He is already backing you up. Now he needs you to stand up a little bit taller. He needs you to have your shoulders put back a little bit more. He needs your head to be held a little bit higher with your chin up. He needs you to know that you know that you know because he said it. Not so much that other people have said it. Not so much that this is a belief that you just came up with about yourself. No, because this is the truth that he has said about you. And he wants you to completely embrace that. You have to put that on. You have to accept that. Because if you don't, you'll never apply yourself. Because if you don't, you will never move when he says move. Because if you don't, you'll never tap into your abilities, your gifts, your talents. And we're not even going to talk about the anointing that can be on your life that is sitting there dormant because you have not moved. Maybe you're operating in your gifts and talents, but you don't even know what to do with it. You have no clarity about it because you think you're just being you. You think you're just out here just, oh, this is who I am. Yes, it is. But do you realize who gave it to you? Do you realize the importance of it? Do you know what you're actually supposed to do with it? Do you know the people you're supposed to reach with that? We have to know that we know that God is in this with us. We have to know who we are and how he feels about us. And also, I have written down that God says, there is so much I want for you, so much that I have for you, but I need you to let go. I have appointed you. I have called you. That was more of God's heart towards me. That was more of his expression towards me. He was trying to tell me that he wants more from my life. There's more that he wants from me. More things that he actually wants me to enjoy. He wants me to enjoy myself. He wants me to enjoy who he has called me to be in the fullness of who I am and who I am to become. But in order to do that, I have to let go of some things. I have to let go of some old habits, some old mindsets, some old ways of thinking and operating out of. I have to let go of how I see myself and fully embrace how he sees me. Maybe a good challenge would be like, have a list, write down your thoughts towards yourself. How do you see you? What do I think about myself? And then maybe next to that, or maybe even a separate list somewhere, you can put, now where does that thought come from? Is that how other people really sees me? Is that how I see myself? Or is that how God sees me? And again, none of it is wrong, but I think it's just cool to see how much of how you think about you and how you see yourself is from God versus from people versus how you see yourself. And you can kind of see where it comes from. You maybe even can see a pattern there like, man, I'm starting to see myself how other people see me, or I'm starting to see myself based off of how I see me. And some of that stuff has came from experiences. Some of that stuff has came from trauma. Some of that stuff has came from pain and hurt. Maybe there's some wounds there. But then you might see some stuff and it's like, oh my goodness, that's what God has told me. That's how God sees me. That's what God has given me. And you'll know when it's God because it'll be light. It'll be hope. It'll come with possibility. It'll come with truth. I don't know. That was just a fun little exercise. I might even do that myself. But I just wanted to share this because I want you to understand, as I'm also encouraging myself, that we are not a mistake. We are not overlooked. Stop overlooking yourself. Stop calling yourself out of something that God has called you into. Stop removing yourself from situations and positions and rooms that He has called you into. Stop removing yourself. Stop overlooking yourself. When God has not overlooked you, people may have overlooked you, but don't ever think that God has overlooked you. No, He sees you. He is always seeing you. He is always there. You are valued. You are considered. You are loved. You are enough. You are important. You are cared for. God wants to do so much in your life, but it requires a letting go. That's something that I'm always talking about because it's something that I'm always having to work on, is letting go, because God can never really release more to us when we're holding on to things that He's saying let go of. He's constantly saying, cutting things away. The more we grow with God, the deeper we go with God, the more intimate our relationship is with God, the more we walk with Him, the more we travel through this life, the more we walk on the path that God has laid for us, it's going to require some cutting. It's going to require some letting go. It's going to require some surrendering, some yielding and submitting to Him. A lot of times that comes with letting go of ourselves, breaking off things that no longer serves us. It may work in one season, but it's not going to work in the next. I just wanted to share this video. I don't even know what I'm going to name it. The topics are everywhere, but I just wanted to encourage somebody that you are enough, that God cares so much about you. You're not a mistake. You've never been a mistake. You will never be a mistake. You matter to God. And He does not just want to use you. He wants to love on you. He wants to care for you. He wants to be in this journey with you. We are not here on earth just to go through it and pass through. We are here to have relationship with God and to encounter Him. We are here to invade earth with heaven's operation. We are here to influence and impact and represent God. We are here to spread the love of Jesus. We are here not of our own accord, and we cannot do any of these things if we do not properly see God, and when we don't properly see ourselves in the way that God sees us. We have to be aware. We have to be in tune. We have to be in the know. We may not know all things, but I believe that God reveals bit by bit, piece by piece. And so I just want to encourage you. You can do this. The path that God has laid out for you, you can do it. It's not always easy to let go. It's not always easy to say goodbye. It's not always easy to move according to the flow and rhythm of God's grace. But as you do it, it will come with ease. It doesn't mean that everything will be easy, but it will come with ease. Begin to flow. You'll be able to move. Your desires will change and become His desires for you. Those things that you used to be excited about that you forgot about, He'll bring those things back up. You'll be able to have expressions of peace and joy like never before. And so I just wanted to encourage you again, because I'm starting to ramble. That you are not a mistake, and God cares deeply for you. You are a part of His heartbeat. He thinks about you night and day. You are constantly, consistently on His mind. And He is always there waiting for you to come to Him. He's always waiting there for you to invite Him. He's always there waiting for you to call on Him, to acknowledge Him, to bring Him into your life, into your situations. He already knows everything anyway. So He wants to sit there with you in the places of where you feel the most vulnerable, the most broken, because He doesn't want you to be there by yourself. He may have even brought you to those places so that you can come to Him, not so that you can sit there in a lonely wilderness place, not so you can sit there by yourself and do this thing called life without Him. He wants to be in it with you. He wants to be in the process with you, because He has some amazing things to show you. He has amazing things to reveal to you. He wants you to experience His love, not based off of lyrics from a song, not solely based off of somebody else's experience with him, not solely based off of something that you've read in a book, not solely based off of a TV show or a movie that you've watched, not solely based off of an experience in church that you've had, not solely based off of any of those things, but solely based off of an encounter and experience and in a relationship that he wants you to have with him day to day. All right, I hope you enjoy this because I'm rambling. I'm going to try to do more of these videos. I have some really cool ideas, some more things to come. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share, all the things. I would love to hear from you. I would love to connect. So yeah, just tell me what you think. I would love to hear. All right.